Something has stood out to me while watching The Rise of Skywalker, and that's the enormous gap in time between Kylo Ren turning back into Ben Solo on the Death Star and his arrival back on Exegol. Something you might have missed during his triumphant return as Ben Solo has gigantic implications, and possibly was cut out of the film for time. But then again, we see the setting I'm talking about at the end of the film, which initially seems random, and now it doesn't. So what the fuck am I talking about? Well, Ben Solo arrives on Exegol to save Rey with his uncle Lando's blaster. Why is that important? That blaster was in a locked box on Cloud City, which was one of the inserted shots during the ending sequence of the film. Okay, well, Ben Solo would have had to travel to Cloud City, locate this blaster, and he would have then found a note that said if he ever needed help to call on Uncle Lando, especially if he couldn't talk with his father. Basically, it was left in case he ever got into any trouble. And boy, he got into trouble. This information is in the Aftermath Trilogy, which was written by Chuck Wendig. After his redemption on the Death Star, Ben Solo would have had to use a leftover TIE fighter, one equipped with hyperdrive, to get to Cloud City, and then use the Force to travel back to Exegol, perhaps similarly to how Chiss Skywalkers, how they travel through hyperspace. But that's just my fan speculation. Also, it's entirely possible that there was an intended interaction between Uncle Lando and Ben Solo, and I think that would have been very interesting to see. Either way, I find this information fascinating, and a pretty neat way to try and tie years worth of Star Wars storytelling into one final conclusion. If I'm honest with myself, I do think that there were large chunks of story and movie missing in the final cut of The Rise of Skywalker, and knowing how this all connects back to Cloud City definitely seems to imply that there was more to what occurred between Ben's redemption and the arrival to save Rey on Exegol, and maybe we will explore that in the novelization or through the comics. Who knows? Either way, I am thankful that Uncle Lando's gift served its purpose after all this time. So what do you think about this information? I like the implications of it, but I wish that we saw Ben Solo finding this and traveling through hyperspace if this is what actually was intended to happen. Leave your comments below. May the Force be with you, and AT AT is signing off.